Hey everyone, ABJ here. It is January 21st. Just want to give you guys this little recap of the day. Today we had a good amount of just choppage in the morning, and we just slowly drifted upwards. And I just want to show you guys some of the things that we like to do interpreting the data, right? So this is the open. I'm going to showcase some gamma and some delta here, and I'm going to showcase net drift as well, because these were the tools today that gave us clues as to how we knew that today was likely going to be an up day with a target of 60.50, a potential for 60.60, but a bottom of probably 6,000, and an absolute worst case scenario we marked at 59.70 as well. So all these levels, first of all, we make these levels based on these charts here, sorry, these graphs here. So we have 59.70, right? Well, so we've marked that in the beginning of the day. If we were to flush down and break through 6,000, this would be the level that we'd likely stop at, because it is the MVC. Right now we would have to see 59.20 grow significantly in order to become the new target for downside. Right, 6,000, this was our huge level support, because if we look here, this is the open of the day right now, 6:30 a.m. 6,000 here has just about over 1.64 billion in exposure for long deltas. Now, long deltas is bullish, and thus this means that participants here aren't going to want to lose this strike. So that's right here. Going further, we're looking at gamma for the targets for price. Right, delta shows us support. It can also show us targets, but at the same time, gamma is the one that shows us the targets for price. So 60.50. At some point in the day, we did see 60.60, so we did mark this later on. That's around here, right? So one thing we like to do, one thing I like to do, I like to tell my audience in quant data, is that I never go against the gamma, right? And I'm always very patient to wait for at least the best buy side scenarios in the market. So London Power Hour, that's usually 1 hour after the market starts. So around 7:30, again I'm West Coast, so 6:30 market starts. We're waiting all the way until 7:30 to put in our first option positions. Right, so you can see right here is kind of the mark in which price starts to settle. A little bit of a hold here, but we eventually grind upwards. So I'm going to show you what 7:30 looks like. So 7:30 on gamma and delta. So you can see here 60.50. 60.60 starting to grow with interest, and we can start to see this as well. 6,000 starting to grow even further. If you actually zoom in further, you'll see that more and more people start piling into 6,000. It actually reaches to a high of 2.3 billion in exposure. So that shows us that there's heavy interest for upside. There's no chance of us meeting this downside exposure as a target for price. And you can see, even zooming in further, this starts to contract. Right, the 59.70 starts to go away. We start to hover around 60.30 for a little bit of time, and that's because as we moved on in price, you can see here this exposure for 60.30 actually contracted, and this became a pothole. If you watch my previous videos regarding gamma and delta potholes, this is exactly what we're seeing. So this is a little bit of a battleground, and it's stopping us from moving further. But the moment we move out of this, we should be able to see that target, 60.50, right? That's what we said. 60.50 is right here. What's the high of the day? 60.50.42, 60.50.51 actually. So that's the high. So this is how accurate we can be with gamma, right? And I just want to show you something else as well, because we use this stuff as clues to tell us market direction. Well, net drift. So let me show you this net drift here. So right around here, we can see, right around here, 7:30. What do we say about 7:30? This is around London's power hour, right? As we can see, a little bit of more calls flowing in, a little bit of a battleground here. But eventually, if you wait until after London officially closes at 8:30, you can actually see a bigger split off. Right, and where calls just surpass puts. by quite a large margin here, and you can actually even go through further. So this, right, we talk about what's your job as a trader. The three things that I like to talk about. Your job as a trader. 1, determine what is the most likely scenario for price based on your data sets, right? My data set being quant data, utilizing all the tools within it to give me an idea of where price will go. 2, determine whether the price, determine whether the trade idea is worth your participation, right? And then 3 is determine how you want to participate, right? We talk about selling credit, we talk about going long via shares or leveraged shares. We also talk about going long calls and puts, right? That's the riskiest thing we can do, or doing futures. That's also pretty risky, but those are the 4 ways that you could participate in the market. So these 3, right? So what did we say? We said 60-50 was likely based on today's gamma profile, right? It was a slow grind, but eventually we did get there just after New York City lunch. Determine how you wanted to trade, right? So today we took futures long, set our stops accordingly, and then we also took SPY 602 calls. Those were great trades. We didn't get to sell any credit today. Usually I'm a credit seller for 0 days, but today it just didn't really seem like the scenario for it. You know, I wanted to see me sell. I wanted to be able to sell below 59.70, but there was just no value in taking on that risk today. But nonetheless, we're green, and the community is green, and this is how we use our tools, right? So this is the recap. We saw 60-50. We saw net drift kind of flow in with more calls and puts, and then we saw that 60-50 was a target. We saw 6,000 delta grow and expand to show further support. So yeah, look at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we're actually at 2.61 billion. So the market really wanted to keep us above this strike. Tomorrow looks a little bit different, but we'll have to see what we can do about that. You know, every day is going to be, that's what I love about trading. Every day is different. No one day is the same as another. So there you go. That's a little bit of a recap, and I hope you guys enjoy. And if you guys want to get more content like this, you know, feel free to like and subscribe, share my video. We're working really hard in quant data to put in more content. That's what you guys asked for, and that's what we're doing. Our community is also free, so feel free to join in our live streams. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. Feel free to join in on the Q&As every Wednesday and Sunday, 5 p.m. PST. That's it. See you guys.